This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Bailey's House of Guns and the WCRA. Guys, November 3rd through the 7th, the Women's Rodeo World Championship takes place at the South Point in Las Vegas for $750,000. Guys, the WCRA is putting on this event. It's a first of its kind competition for female athletes competing in breakaway, barrels, and team roping. Who can compete, you say? Any female over the age of 13 years old can compete in breakaway, barrel racing, and team roping, or any combination of the three for that all around. What's that? How many places are they paying? 1st through 24th. First place gets $60,000, and guess what? It's equal money for all three events, and there's an average. That's a bonus $20,000. Oh, what's that? What does the last hole get? $750. If you're 1st through 24th, you are getting paid. This is a great opportunity, guys, to earn some money and be part of an exciting organization. You know how the WCRA nominations work. Nominate your events, do all that. You guys want to be a part of this. Check it out at WCRArodeo.com. Hit the events and go to the W20 tab, and it will give you more information than I can give you in this short amount of time. Check it out, WCRArodeo.com. Bailey's House of Guns is a family-owned and operated business based out of Houston, Texas. Guys, they're the official distributor for Remington and Smith & Wesson for all law enforcement in the state of Texas. Bailey's House of Guns is a humongous supporter of rodeo and rodeo athletes. They've sponsored some cowboys. They've provided guns and ammo for plenty of world champions. They love rodeo just like we do. Guys, support a local business. Support Bailey's House of Guns. They can ship guns and ammo to FFLs throughout the United States. I know they've got the guns you want. I know they've got the ammo you want. Give Bailey's House of Guns a call.
This is The Gauge with host Chance Conradu.
Are you freaking serious? It's Conrado. This is The Gauge, and I am Chance Conrado. On this episode of the podcast, we have got Kendall Jones. I'm sure a lot of you know who Kendall Jones is. She's very famous for hunting. She had this thing happen with a lion and a safari quite some time ago that kind of launched her career. She is a lot of fun, though. We talk about all of that stuff, hash out some of the things that that kind of gave her the platform she's got. We talk about some of her future plans, which are pretty exciting. She really does want to grow and help the hunting industry, which is awesome. There's a whole nother part of this podcast, though, where we get into the dirty, dark, deep political landscape that we're living in right now. Here's the thing. Neither of us could really figure out the best way to articulate any of that. So we're kind of just like hitting rocks against the table, but it's really fun and entertaining. Check it out. All right, Kendall Jones, what's up?
What's up? How are you?
I am really good. I'm glad you're here. I mean, you are luckily a lot closer than some of our guests, so you didn't have to fly in.
Yep, just an hour south of here.
Yep, so it worked out pretty good. I was glad you got to come in, and because we've had some other outdoor influencers on, and you got requested a bunch.
Really?
So, yeah,
well,
surprisingly.
Awesome. Hey, guys, I'm here.
Yep, absolutely. It was funny because we were talking before you kind of got comfy in your seat, got your drink going, about like some of the cool things you're working on now and how you don't want to talk too much about the past. But here's what's great. Our listeners, at least a good portion of them, right? They're probably not going to know that whole lion thing, picture posing, Fox News thing we were talking about. So I think it would be great if we maybe started with that.
Absolutely.
Give a little backstory on yourself and then see where the conversation takes us.
Absolutely. Figure out where I came from. But
yep, let's hear it.
Born and raised in Texas, just an hour south of here, actually. I have a ranch close to Brazos Point. That's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I just was born and raised in the outdoors. My dad was always a hunter. I'm an only child, so he took me to do all the boy things, and my mom took me to do all the girl things. I was a cheerleader. I graduated from Texas Tech in 2017, and I cheered there for 3 years. So not the typical hunter, stereotypical person. I was very much so a girly girl, but also really liked to hunt and fish and do all the outdoor things. So I got my start really hunting whenever I was 8 years old. My dad took me over to Africa for the first time. And at the time, I didn't really know how I felt about hunting. So I just went over there and watched him, and I absolutely fell in love with it. and he didn't bring a gun small enough for me to shoot anything with. So he promised me that he would take me back, and whenever I was 13, he took me over there, and that's like really whenever I got first into hunting and actually hunting myself. So I'd always seen my dad hunt, but never really hunted myself until I was 13.
Okay, so your dad, so he was the typical dude then.
Oh yeah,
right?
he's
like,
the man's man, but he was such a girl dad at the
Really?
same time. Yeah.
He didn't have the son, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna take this blonde little Barbie doll and make her a huntress.
Absolutely, that's what it was. And he was actually the ultimate cheer dad too. So like, he's like, if we're not doing football, we're gonna go all in on cheerleading. So
That's
he
hilarious.
pushed me in cheerleading and really just made me get athletic with it in volleyball as well.
Right. Well, okay, so here's the interesting thing. So for us, like, yeah, it's kind of like a rodeo-based podcast, right? We call it Into the Western Lifestyle because that's the hook, right?
Yeah.
Like, it all kind of ties together, right? So here's what's really interesting about, like, rodeo, hunting, the outdoors. Like, there's a lot of shared values there.
Yeah, there's
right?
a lot of overlap.
There
I feel
is,
like.
right? And, like, for you, kind of the hook is, well, your dad rodeoed.
Yeah,
right?
he did.
You don't,
So
but he did.
yeah, so my dad's side was all into like the ranching and farming and stuff like that. So I had horses growing up, like at my grandparents' house. I'm allergic to horses, so I didn't really get to enjoy them all that much. But yeah, I grew up going to rodeos, watching them, and so I know that lifestyle as well.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so many rodeo people hunt too.
Yeah,
It's like
that's the
such
best
a crossover.
thing. Yeah,
It really is. But like for you, I'm really interested in the like kind of your dad, right? Because he's the one who set what ended up being your whole career and your whole thing. Like it kind of started when you were 8 years old with your dad, which is really interesting. A lot of people, that's how it is, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I started, like I said, hunting whenever I was 8. He's the one that pushed me and instilled drive in me and always like pushed me to follow my passion and what I really wanted to do. And so whenever I was in college, that's whenever my controversy kind of started. It was between my freshman and sophomore year. I went back over to Africa with my dad, and I started hunting the Big Five. I actually hunted the Big Five whenever I was 13 and 14, but I went back whenever I was 19 to do it again and video it and possibly make a TV show out of it. We didn't really know the exact route we were going to go, but we went over there filming it. And after I posted my pictures online, that's kind of when I got so much hate, and I went worldwide news, and it was everywhere. And so it was like an overnight thing.
Yeah. So how crazy was that? Like, were you terrified for your life? Were you like, oh, this is kind of cool? I mean, what was the mindset? Because not very many people have experienced global hate before.
Yeah, it was literally global. For me, it was just kind of a weird experience. I didn't feel like it was me that was getting all of this hate. So really, it didn't bother me. I know that's like kind of weird to say, but I just ignored it. Like those people that were hating on me and saying the most ugly things you can think of, I didn't really feel like, well, they don't know me. They don't know anything about me. So why am I going to let them affect how I live my life and take away from my passion? So
right.
That's kind of how I dealt with it. Of course, I did go to like classes to like be aware of my surroundings, and like I was more cautious after that, just like knowing where I was. And I know that there's bad things that happen out there. So like, I'm not oblivious to that, but I didn't live in fear because of it.
Right. And you're kind of in a safe, I mean, if you're going to be from anywhere, you're from a good place.
Oh yeah. Texas. Heck yeah.
Well,
And
even where Texas Tech is, and like even
yeah,
Cleveland. Like,
I was about to say Texas Tech, like thank God I chose to go there because they were awesome about it. I like actually thought about going to UT for like 0.5 seconds, and then I went and visited and realized it wasn't for me.
Right.
And thank God I wasn't in Austin when everything happened. So
yeah, we wouldn't be having this
yeah,
conversation.
we probably would not be having this convo.
Well, so what's interesting about that, right, is it was a lion that you got all this hate for. And what people seem to not understand about African hunts is how good they are for the regions you're in and the country as a whole. I mean, that's the number one thing really that provides income for these people, right?
Absolutely. There's so much that goes into conservation and hunting in Africa that it's really hard for people to understand, especially if they've never been over there and really experienced it and realize their way of life is not what it's like over here. A lot of the villagers and people over there can't just go down the street to the Walmart and get steaks or whatever.
Right.
So they really rely on hunters over there.
So what is the cost to hunt a lion? It's somewhere in the 50,000 US range, right?
It kind of depends on where you are. So like there's actually a lot of how can I say it? The wild lions are actually what you hear like are endangered, but don't quote me on that. That's what you hear from everywhere, but they have those game ranches as well that provide or that breed lions, but in like 20,000 acres. So they still, I don't know how to explain that.
Right. So I mean, they're kind of like high fence ranches here in Texas. Right?
Yeah, but not like just like 500 acres.
Right.
They're like 20, 30,000 acres. So like you still have to go out and hunt. It's not just like you hear canned hunts. That's what I hate so much about it is people don't understand hunting over there. So going back to the price, it kind of depends on where you are and where you're hunting it.
But I mean, what's the percentage that goes to conservation's like 80%, right? It's some huge number.
Yeah,
and the rest
I
goes
couldn't get like deep into the numbers on that, but I for sure know like where the animals go, where the meat goes, like what happens to it. It's not like it just goes into someone's pocket. Like I've been there firsthand whenever they have the game wardens over there come with you to make sure you're doing everything right. So like I know that it goes towards anti-poaching teams, which is a huge thing over there as well.
Right. You know what's interesting is you could probably explain that to a T to the largest group of people who hate on what you do, who in turn also hate on what we do, because it's all kind of the same thing. And I don't think it would ever change anybody's opinion, probably, right?
Yeah, and what a lot of people need to understand is like if you take the value off of an animal, no one cares to watch out for it anymore. Yeah. And so that goes back to the lions. If you took the value off of a lion and was like it's nothing anymore, they wouldn't care to take care of it and breed them and make sure that their numbers thrive. And so if once you take the value off of a lion, then no one's going to just pay out of their pocket to feed these lions and make sure they're living and thriving on these ranches.
Right. And that's just the thing that people don't understand, or they don't want to understand, because what happens when you poke holes in people's like their whole, because there's a lot of people that's like their whole sense of being, right?
Absolutely. Like I always like to, how I explain it to some of my friends here that might be relatable is like, if you took the value off corn, are you going to farm corn just to farm a lot of it? No, like that's not, like you're not going to care to take care of the corn if there's no value in doing it. You're not going to spend all that money on the equipment and everything that goes into it if you're not going to get any return off of it. Totally.
No, and it makes a lot of sense. So all this happened, right? And then was it Fox News who approached you, or?
So kind of let's backtrack because so I can like explain all of it. So whenever I was over in Africa and I posted these pictures of me hunting and what I was doing over there, a bunch of anti-hunters got a hold of my pictures, posted it all over the internet, like PETA and all of these animal activists that have like large followings. So I was getting a ton of hate, and that's whenever not just like Fox News, like every single news channel picked it up. Like Fox News, CNN, ABC, CBS, all of them picked it up, and the headlines were like, Texas Tech cheerleader goes and kills endangered animals, which is not true at all. Like,
you mean the internet lied?
Oh yeah. No. Can you believe it? It was on Facebook, so it had to be true.
That's where I get all my news and politics.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so it kind of got picked up from there, wrong headlines, and it circled all around the world. I was on Germany's biggest newspaper as the baby-faced killer. So
the baby-faced killer?
The baby-faced killer.
So tell me there's a room in your mom's house of just cutouts of all this.
I wish I did, but I do have like a photo album like on Google of all of the hate and like all of the messages and stuff. Yeah. One of my friends from, I think it was either Switzerland or the Netherlands, I can't remember, but one of them sent me a picture and was like, oh my gosh, you're on my newspaper. And then, of course, like the celebrities added to it as well. I had Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus and Piers Hilton and what's the guy? He's from Europe. Piers Morgan, I think.
Piers Morgan?
Yeah, he's a news anchor, I think, like on a big news show in like Europe or somewhere over there.
Yeah.
But Yeah, they all
write
added
you?
to it.
Like, did people write you and be like, how could you do this?
Oh yeah, I had hate mail like in my mailbox. I had someone send me a letter like with, I don't know what they were trying. I guess they tried to what's the white like stuff that if you inhale it?
Anthrax?
Yeah. I guess they tried to make it look like that, but it didn't at all. I think it was like lint out of their washer or dryer, like that they sprinkled in this thing. But yeah, there's a lot of hateful people out there for sure.
I mean, we're getting, like, as a country right now, we're seeing how much hate there is just for the sake of hate. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
I was talking to someone the other day, like, I got canceled before cancel culture was an actual thing.
Right.
So, I was one of the first canceled people.
Yeah, you got canceled before you were even a cancelable person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but
Cancelable. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been a ride for sure. That was 6 years ago.
I mean, 6 years it's kind of a long time, but kind of not a long time.
Yeah, no,
right?
it feels like yesterday.
Right.
I was 19 whenever it happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, okay. I know, like, your life was getting threatened and all that, but it had to be kind of fun, right? Like, kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, really, people give
Honestly,
this much shit about what I'm doing?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the best part that I look back on, I'm like, all of these haters and hateful people literally gave me a career. So thank you.
That's fun. Yeah,
that's what I like to throw back in their face is like, thank you. Your hatefulness gave me a career.
That's a good point. I mean, really is, because, I mean, you had a little bit of a following and all that, and I mean, what was your plan, though? Like, what was your life goal before that?
That's a good question. I was actually in school to become a physical therapist, and after my freshman year, I was like, you know what? I don't like science that much, and that's all that all what my path requires. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it to business, and I'm going to figure it out as I go, because I'm a very business-minded person. My dad was a huge entrepreneur, and so I just knew I wanted to do something in the business world. And so after this happened, I was kind of like, okay, well,
sure made it a lot easier.
Yeah, God gave me a plan, and I guess this is it.
What kind of businesses did your dad do?
Oh Lord, how long do we
kinds of
have? Yeah, so he actually started refurbishing Ford tractors whenever he was 14 years old. So he refurbished those and sold them. And then he got into like car washes back before like automatics were like a thing, the $5 ones. But yeah, he did car washes and then mini storage buildings, and he got into oil and gas. We had excavation companies. He had 18-wheelers, construction. He had a little bit of everything.
Right. So
and then along with our ranch too, I have a game ranch as well.
Yeah. So that's interesting, right? So he started out like, was he one of these people who didn't go to college, do any of that stuff, and kind of started out business?
Yeah. So he didn't finish college. He went to college and like quit with 12 hours left. So, but yeah, he went to college and he just knew that he wanted to do business. He was an entrepreneur, and that's just kind of what his heart set out for.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. It's so beneficial to have parents like that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Was he like the start from nothing? His parents were broke kind of thing, or did he have a little bit of help?
No, his parents really did guide him and help him where he needed it. But like, I don't think he really ever needed it. They gave him the opportunity to do what he wanted to do, and he made the best out of it. So, I mean, his parents definitely helped him, but they didn't. He was very self-motivated and driven himself.
That's almost harder though, right? Like,
yeah.
Like if your parents are successful, I mean, how many people with like well-off parents do we know who are complete and total screw-offs?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So many more.
Absolutely. Spoon-fed.
Spoon-fed, yeah. So when you have the option to do that, I'm not saying he did, but we know people who do.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they go the opposite and they just completely.
They actually make something of themselves instead of
that's
just.
almost more impressive than a guy with his back against the wall, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Because you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting, and then he kind of passed that value on to you, and you were going to go into business. I mean, that's so funny because.
Yeah, my I was like, whenever I was 3 years old and I went and stayed with my mom at the mini storage buildings while she was working the front office, I would like coloring pages and try to sell them to all the customers that came in.
You did that?
Yeah, and then I used to make duct tape wallets and I would sell those, and I would like hustle people at school and like do all the things. So
that's really funny because when I was a kid, my parents rodeoed hardcore, so we like lived in a trailer. And I like love to like draw pictures when I was probably about the same age as you. And I would walk around the rodeos or the jackpots and like try to sell pictures.
I remember
People feel so bad for you, they buy them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, $1? Heck yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I used to take like candy to school and sell it to my friends.
So it's funny. I mean, so thank goodness you didn't become a drug dealer.
Oh, geez. That escalated quickly.
It did, but you hear stories. Hey, I started selling gum, and then next thing you know,
turned to cocaine.
Literally. But okay, so you went through all that, and then you build this big social media platform. At what point did like the hate like kind of subside? Or probably never.
I was about to say, I still get hate a lot, like every day. But it used to be like 90% hate, 10% support, and now it's flip-flopped. I would say probably it started lightening up like after a year or so. And like every once in a while, like I'll still have like, for instance, Miley Cyrus posted about me 2 years after it happened. So like whenever she posted about it, then I got a lot of hate again. So like it goes in spurts. If I go out and go on a big hunting trip, like there's always going to be those people that follow you just to like hate on everything you do and then try to make a big deal about it. But now I have a ton of support. A lot of support, actually.
Yeah, that's got to be nice because, you know, like you have people who will defend you so you don't have to get in your own
I have
comments.
some like loyal followers that are just going to support me through anything, and they will go back at the haters, and they don't really let them talk very much anymore.
Right. You know, so something that's interesting that when Katie was on here that we talked about is kind of like the effects of social media on like young people. I mean, you were at a really young age, and you got to kind of see social media develop just like I did.
Yeah.
Just like all of us did, really. We're sitting in this room. I mean, how hard was it for you to kind of manage that, right? Like manage the overnight fame. Like, did it cause a lot of like issues with you, with your confidence, with?
Good question. I had people help me at the beginning manage my social media, but I was like, I don't know if I would say I was nervous. That's actually not nervous. I don't know the exact word to use, but I had a private life and I had a public life. So I had 2 Instagrams, I had 2 Facebooks, I had 2 Twitters, 2 everything, because I wanted to keep that private life. I wanted to keep my friends like separate from like my public, like what everyone saw me as, you know, like I wanted to keep those tight knit relationships and like still have like loyal friends, not ones that just come to you because you have like a lot of followers on social media. And so I kept that separate for a really long time until I graduated college. And after that, like I tried to keep my public life like purely hunting, outdoors, like all of that, and my private life just like who I was. But now I've kind of merged the two. Like now I genuinely do love hunting and outdoor stuff, and that's majority of what I do. But I also have another girly side. I like to go shopping. I like to do my hair and makeup too. But I've kind of combined the two and kind of just merged on let everyone know who I actually am. And now I know my loyal friends and my solid people that I have in my life. So bringing them on, I'm not scared for them to just be friends with me because of my follower count.
So when it all started though, because you were in college,
yeah.
I mean, and you were cheerleading, right? So it's like you were in a stadium every weekend kind of thing and doing that whole deal. I mean, were you like kind of worried? Like,
so Texas Tech, they brought me into the office like once everything like had happened, and they were like, what do you need us to do for you? And I was like, I'm fine, like I think I'm good. But they provided a police officer to follow me around at game days and like engaging with the crowd. And but you know, I've actually never had anyone come up to my face and say anything.
Never You've never been like, well, that's interesting.
I've never had anyone come up and say anything near what they've said on social media. But I mean, I might have had like 1 or 2 people just be like, I don't agree with like what you do, and like that's fine, you don't have to, I'm not making you agree with me. But I've never had anyone say anything like ugly or hateful. I've actually had people take pictures of me and post it and write ugly stuff, and I'm like, why couldn't you have just come and said something to my face? They like haven't ever done that.
Right. But so being in college and all that, it's like, I'm sure you had a pretty tight-knit, or what we all consider to be tight-knit friends when you're 19, right?
Yeah.
Like in college. Did you lose friends because they're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that you were that type
No,
of
I
person?
didn't. Like, the people that I was friends with, like, if they didn't understand it, they would, like, ask me questions and try to understand what I was doing. But I have a lot of liberal friends that are, like, would never hunt a day in their life, and they still love me the same person as I was before, and they will ask me questions and just try to learn what I'm doing. And they're like, okay, I understand it. Like, I'm not ever going to do it, but
Right.
I don't hate you for doing it. So,
That's interesting.
yeah. And especially being a part of a cheer team, like, cheer girls are very girly. There's probably like one or two other people on the whole team that had ever shot a gun, honestly. And so they were very interested in why I was doing what I was doing. So
Really?
they'd ask me questions and want to learn about it. And since then, I've had a lot of people come out and shoot a gun for the first time with me. So
Really?
it's pretty cool.
So you didn't get like ostracized at all. You're like,
No.
oh, there's the hunter girl. Why don't you wear
Yeah.
your camo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had people like pick at me, like being funny,
Yeah.
like sarcastic, joking, but not like,
No malicious.
oh my gosh, yeah, like nothing terrible.
Oh, so that's good. So you got lucky, it sounds like, because I've talked to other people with,
I would say that, but also like you have to have a lot of confidence and a lot of thick skin because
Right.
like there's a lot of things that have been said to me that a lot of people would have just deleted their Instagram, deleted Facebook, deleted everything. Like as far as like my close friends and my people, yeah, but as far as the general public, I'll give you an example. Here's I got an email one time and it said, "Hey Kendall, my name is so and so, and I'm gonna come to Texas and find you and rape you and torture you and rip each of your limbs off one by one and cause you the most torturous death known to man." So yeah, you can say like I had it like easy with my friends, but for the general public and what people can say behind a keyboard, like it's terrible. And then when my dad passed away in 2016, I don't know if you knew that, but he died in a car crash. And after people on social media after that, you would really look at the world differently to have someone say like you deserve to have your dad dead, like blah 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 blah. He had what's coming for him. So yeah, I had good things come from it, but also there was like a lot of hate that I had to just like completely ignore.
How do you mentally, at a young age, how do you handle that? Like, how do you not just like curl up in a ball? Because like, it's funny. I was listening to a Joe Rogan this morning. He was like, hurt people, but there's so many people out there who take it out on.
Yeah, there hurt people, and that's 100% true. And what I like, of course, I lean to God for a lot of it, and just knowing He did have a path, and I always try to see like good in situations and finding the positive in something and knowing everything happens for a reason. Like, yeah, I might not know that reason, but there's a reason and it's happening, and that's my plan. And one of the like I guess quotes or whatever you want to call it. That really resonated with me was people that talk about you and say bad things about you without even knowing you says more about who they are as a person than it does yourself. So that's what I've always like thought of. Like those people talking about me haven't even like taken the time to get to know me. They've never met me. They are literally just reacting on a picture that they see without knowing any sort of backstory.
Well, so you have to think about it through a different lens, right? Like from your perspective, instead of just like, fuck these people, forget these clowns. Like they're almost seeing you like they're watching a movie, right? Like you're not even really a real person to them. You know?
Yeah, like it's like a character to them.
You're like a character.
And people, I don't think I would ever have anyone come, like you have to be like a really bad person with like zero heart to be able to say some of the things that have been said to me to someone's face. Like, yeah, it's easy to do it behind a keyboard, but even if I met, I couldn't even think of anyone that I would say some of these things to. Like in person, like, I don't know, the worst thing, maybe a baby raper or something, like I could say something terrible to them, but at the end of the day, they're not worth my time. Like, why am I going to spend my time hating someone that literally means nothing to me?
Right. And it's funny because what could you say, right? Could you sit there all day, grab your computer or your iPad or whatever, and try to just respond to hundreds of people?
Yeah.
Where's it end?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
Like, I used to spend time like looking through my comments, blocking and deleting, and like maybe like saying things back, but literally they are not worth my breath or my fingers typing.
No, but isn't it funny to think that like that guy or that chick, she's probably sitting at her job that she hates, like who knows what she's doing, and like in between phone calls or something, she's
like
F you lion killer.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Like I just can't. I don't know. I look at things from other people's point of view and try to understand where they're coming from, but I just do not understand why people waste time on things that literally don't matter to them or that does not affect their life. Like, why are you going to waste time on that?
You know why you see it that way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you have a thing, right? You've always had.
Yeah,
You've
like,
always had a thing. I've always had a thing. He's always had a thing. Ty produces our great podcaster. He's got a thing. But there's so many people out there who don't have a thing, or maybe they underachieved in everything they do, right? And they get to like this point, right? The human brain can only take so much mediocrity before like a person's self just implodes, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this outlet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where you can go say whatever you want to anybody, get all that out, and there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
Unless
Trust me.
unless
There's
you're
zero
pro-Trump, then you're going to get blocked. But,
Yeah, there's literally zero repercussions. The FBI can't do anything. Like, I remember at the beginning, when everything was happening, I had people be like, you need to go to the police or the FBI. And like at one point we did have a connection and we asked like, if we wanted to do something, what could we do? And they were like, literally nothing. Like, it would take so long for anything to come out of it because they have to get the IP address, go to that computer's, like they have to be able to prove that person from that account, because it's easy to say, oh, someone was on my account and did it, you know?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
So, yeah, it's pretty sad that people can do that, but hey, at the end of the day, it's free speech, I guess.
Depending on what side of the fence you're on, let's be real.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though? Like, cause we're seeing that now. It's like you could say any of those awful things to anybody you want, but if you like criticize anything like real world that's going on or any of the ideologies that are being pushed, then you get pulled off. It's
yeah,
it's crazy.
absolutely. Censorship. It's a real thing. I've had it happen to me.
What happened to you? Like
just
example.
censorship. Like, my stuff doesn't get shown to a lot of people, if it has to do with Trump. Lord help us. You know, like that they're going to censor that. And actually, whenever the coronavirus was, that, I don't know, did you see the pandemic, the YouTube thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I posted about it and shared the video, and they were like, "Oh, this is false information," and like deleted it.
Yeah, it's funny because we've been trying to just post like a couple little ads on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And because it has to do with like rodeo and Western, they keep denying our stuff.
Really?
It's crazy. Yeah. So it's just, they've already got these preconceived notions on what they want to allow. And it's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It goes back to like my pictures of my lion and my leopard and elephant, and all of my hunting pictures got deleted off Facebook when everything was happening.
Really?
I had 3 Instagram accounts get deleted. Like, I had to keep making my Instagram account because my entire account would get deleted.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've probably...
I had like 30,000 followers at one point. It got deleted. I built it back up to like 15,000. Then it got deleted. And finally, I was able to keep it. I actually just got verified on Instagram last year.
That's a process.
Yeah. Oh, it is for sure. And I've been trying since like 2014 to be like, hey, can you just stop doing this to my account, please?
Right.
Like, I don't care if I have a blue check mark or not, but can you just like stop deleting my stuff?
Well, I mean, and you're using that as a platform to operate like a business, and
yeah,
I mean, they're literally stealing from you if they do that.
For sure. And I really like, with my platform, I want to get the word out about conservation and what it is, and try to explain to people, going back to the Africa stuff, you aren't going to understand it if you've never been over there. I mean, I'm not going to say you're not ever going to understand it. It's very hard to understand if you've never been over there, but like, that's what I want to try and take people with my platform and get them to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and how, if it wasn't for hunters, the animal population would be nothing in Africa if it wasn't for hunters. If you take Kenya, for example, they stopped hunting in 1970, I think, in the 70s, sometime around then, and they have almost zero wildlife left because poaching is such a huge thing.
Right. Well, I mean, there's just not a lot of ways for people to make money there.
Yeah, and especially like with the villagers over there, and going back to the lions, like if a lion comes in your village, of course you're probably going to kill it. Like it can get one of the kids. It can come into their house, literally.
Well, they hate lions there. From what I've
Yeah,
been told.
absolutely. And so that's why the wild population of lions is dwindling, because of poaching and because of them coming into villages and the villagers just killing it. It literally, they don't care to look out for it because it causes a lot of harm over there.
Bailey's House of Guns is a family-owned and operated business based out of Houston, Texas. Guys, they're the official distributor for Remington and Smith & Wesson for all law enforcement in the state of Texas. Bailey's House of Guns is a humongous supporter of rodeo and rodeo athletes. They've sponsored some cowboys. They've provided guns and ammo for plenty of world champions. They love rodeo just like we do. Guys, support a local business. Support Bailey's House of Guns. They can ship guns and ammo to FFLs throughout the United States. I know they've got the guns you want. I know they've got the ammo you want. Give Bailey's House of Guns a call.
But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I have a platform now, and I have a lot of loyal followers. And really, with my platform, I'm just going to try and inspire young kids and women to get into the outdoors, whether it be hunting or fishing or just going out and hiking or just seeing. There's so much to see in this world, and I feel like we spend so much of our time cooped up inside, just worried about what's going on and what's like happening in the city, when actually there's so much more to explore.
Well, and like, okay, so people don't really know what's out there, right? So if you're a kid and you were born, I don't know, uptown Dallas or something, not very many kids there, but use that as an example, right? It's like the chances of you like getting out and being interested in anything that you're interested in or I'm interested in, or take Ty for example, right? He doesn't care about any of that stuff, right? He's like a computer genius. But if you asked him to go like hunt something, I don't know if he'd grab the right end of the gun.
All right, I'm not that dumb.
just using an example, right? Because you come from a different place than say she does or I do, right? So like your idea of what's fun and what's great and what you like to do is completely different than what hers is or mine is.
Yeah, and so I mean, with my platform, that's what I want to do. Is I want it to just be an inspiration for people that are like, oh wow, there is more out there than just being inside cooped up on a computer, going out to eat or something like that. And going out to eat, that's a perfect example. Like I actually hunt my own food, so like I know where my food's coming from.
Right.
So I just want to be able to educate people and give them just a different outlook on life.
Well, and that's so trendy right now. Like I think there was some poll taken, and there's more like new hunters now than there's ever been before.
Yeah.
Because of like people like you are like really huge, like the Joe Rogan and the Cameron Haynes, are like romanticize that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It creates a really interesting opportunity for you to actually do what you're wanting to do.
Exactly. And I think just being able to talk about it and educate people and show them why I do what I do and why I'm passionate about it. And I mean, I've learned so much in the past just 5 years from what I knew then to my outlook on it is so different than it was back just 5 years ago. I still have the same values and what I really like to do, but now I just know so much more about it and never stop learning.
So since that's your goal, right? That's the thing you want to do. I mean, what do you think is the approach to get those type of kids with those type of backgrounds to relate to you and what you're doing? I mean, what do you think the best way to do that is?
I mean, the route I'm taking now, I'm going to start making videos. YouTube is such a huge trend. I have a 6-year-old nephew that he literally lives on YouTube, and he loves watching shows and series, and I guess there's groups of people. So I know that way I can relate to a younger audience and just show them that it's not just about going out and shooting the first thing you see. That's not what hunting is. And like just basically it all goes back to education and showing them why I'm doing what I'm doing, and just show them how fun it is and how passionate I am about it, and just so they can have that option of, hey, maybe I do want to try this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we have a mutual friend, Steven McBee, and he's also launching something like that where he's going to grab like inner city kids, and we're going to promote it for him at some point. He's not ready to do it, but it's really interesting. So there's other people out there who could maybe come together and do something.
Absolutely. Yeah. And reaching outside of like my normal demographic, getting those girls out there that are from the city. Like I have a friend that has never touched a gun in her life. Like, so just getting those people the opportunity to just try it and just see what it's about. And especially like with kids, taking them on hunts and getting them involved in organizations and camps like that. And just getting them out there to try it. Because I think once people try something, they'll have a different outlook on it or perspective, and they can actually form a solid opinion on what they think about it if they've actually done it versus just seeing it and the idea of it.
Right. Well, and what I think it does, right? Because if you have that background, you kind of like morally, ethically, you have like a little bit different outlook on life, right? Than like somebody else who doesn't have that. It's like you appreciate things like hard work more. You understand, like, you just have a different set of values kind of when you come from that, right?
For sure, for sure. I mean, some of the hardest hunts I've ever been on are some of the ones that have made the most impact on me and my story and everything like that. So I know that hunting and being in the outdoors has made me more of a driven person, and I don't even know where to go from there, but I understand what you're saying.
Right. So something really interesting that you kind of breezed over, right, was the loss of your dad, which when we started the podcast, it really sounds like he was just like the greatest dude ever.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And that's another thing. Actually, me and James were talking about it right before we came over here. Like, I think losing a parent and losing, especially my dad, I'm an only child. Like, me and him had like an awesome bond. He got me into hunting, and like hunting was like me and his thing like that. So it was really hard for me to get back out there and actually continue hunting. But I would say I'm more passionate about it now than I was whenever my dad was still here. So it gave me a whole different outlook, different perspective, and really obviously changed my life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's probably, like, for a kid, that's probably and it doesn't matter if you're a 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid, or like a 10-year-old kid, right? To lose a parent is like, I mean, how do you go from doing what you were doing, lose your parent, and then like, how long did it take you to get to a point where you're like could mentally handle what you were doing before?
Yeah, I mean, I still remember I lost him in January, and I didn't go. I went hunting whitetail that fall, so November, and I was just dreading it. I did not want to go, like, but I knew like he would be upset with me if I just like stopped hunting completely. So I was like, whatever, I'll just give it a shot. If I hate it, I don't have to do it anymore. Like, that was my outlook on it. And I remember the first time I got in a stand after my dad died, I saw a shooting star. And so I was like, okay, it's a sign. So, and then I shot a great buck, and it was awesome. I was like, okay, I love it again.
Right. No, I get it. I mean, then you kind of feel like you probably have to do it like in honor of your dad. Like every time you do it, you're doing it in honor of your dad.
Yeah, and actually it's just been until recently I have been doing it for myself. I'm like, okay, I know my dad would like me doing this, but I have to do what's going to make me genuinely happy, and because that's what he would want. And once I changed my perspective on that and started doing it because I genuinely wanted to and I was passionate about it, that's when everything changed for me and got me to where I am now.
Right. So there was a point in your life maybe where you weren't sure of why you were doing what you were doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably so it's been 4 years. First 2 years were just an actual blur. Like it was like autopilot. And then after I graduated, because I lost him whenever I was 21. So I had just graduated college, kind of finished that and made that my first priority to finish college. And then after that, I had to really regroup and figure out what it is I wanted to do. So that was another year, and now I'm on year 4. So
right.
Yeah, I would say it's not up until recently that I've really gotten back into my groove.
Really? Yeah. So, I mean, you've just been doing a lot of self-reflection probably.
Oh, yeah, a ton. Like, I have changed so much, like, as a person in the last 4 years.
Really? Well, I mean, and you're like, you grow up, right? And
yeah.
Isn't it funny, like, when you're like 18, 19, 20, like how your brain works and how stupid you are?
Oh, gosh, yeah. And it's funny to think whenever you were younger, you thought you had it all together. People that were 20 had it all together. Like, no. Now I'm 25, I still don't have it all together.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like day by day it changes. But
yeah.
I'm sure just like everybody, like we have mutual friends and everything. You probably had like a host of hunts that got canceled this year, right?
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, I was supposed to go to Australia, New Zealand, Africa, Iowa for turkey with the Drurys. How I know Steven.
Yeah.
And what I know more's gotten canceled. But yeah, I've had my whole hunting season has gotten all messed up.
Yeah, just like everybody else's life, even if they're not hunters, it's just completely crazy.
Life.
I mean, so like I remember in January, right? It was like 2020 is going to be the best year ever.
Oh yeah, new decade.
New decade. This is going to be the thing. And then like February starts and you're like, what is
maybe
going on? And then March and it's just like, cool, let's buy
just go
some
with
leather
it.
and go start a Thunderdome party.
You're right. It's just like, yeah, this world right now is crazy.
It's a weird time to live. I mean, could you imagine like growing up in it though? Like what if you were like your 8-year-old self now? Like how would you even live in this?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're especially getting homeschooled.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the homeschool thing is, it's like they don't even really understand what they're asking people to do, I don't think.
Yeah. Imagine all these people getting homeschooled right now, what it's going to be like whenever they're 25 and getting into the workforce. It's like, oh, great. I was homeschooled by a bunch of alcoholics during quarantine.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's one industry that's not hurt is the alcohol industry.
Oh, yeah. That would be nice to be in.
Yeah. I'm telling you. If like you had money to buy stocks, it would have been like in March, like a new whiskey company or
right.
something. So what is kind of like the attack plan though? Like because you're in this quasi quarantine lifestyle that we're living in, like how do you actually push your model that you're trying to bring forward? Like how do you do that? Is it just YouTube? Because it's not like you can offer somebody a hunt really right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's still, I have all of my platforms. I have my website. I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. So all of that, just trying to bring in people and getting them to go look at all of the different things I have to offer. I had a blog, so I've written a couple blogs. I wouldn't say I'm an avid blogger. And then through Instagram and Facebook and kind of just bringing them in. But I'm about to have a lot of video content for people to watch. And
really?
Yeah.
So the blogs, like is it strictly like hunting blogs or
no, I would say it's more life stories or like most of my commonly asked questions and like hunt recaps or like how do I deal with all of the hate, just what am I doing right now, like current events, like just a variety of things.
Yeah, what are the most common questions you get? I'd be curious.
How do you deal with the hate? How did I get started in the outdoors? How do I get my girlfriend to go hunting with me? So
how do I get my girlfriend to go hunting with me? Like what would be your advice on that? Because
or how do I get my kids to go hunting with me? I would say make it fun. Like you have to make it fun. You can't just be, I know there's some like diehard hunters out there, and that's one of the things I really push is you have to make it fun. It can't just be like, oh, you have to be quiet, be like just so boring. You know, like sitting in a tree stand or sitting in a blind can be really boring if you have to be quiet the whole time, sitting there, not moving. Like kids aren't going to like that. They need some sort of action going on, seeing it. So take them on a fun hunt first, like maybe like a dove hunt or like something where there's going to be a lot of action.
Right.
That would be my advice. And just make it fun, make it memorable, make memories.
Yeah.
Versus it just being strictly about killing something. Like, I don't think that that's going to really bring them to want to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not, especially when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Hey, son, let's just go kill
and
something.
Don't forget the snacks.
Oh, don't forget the snacks?
If you're sitting in the blind and you become hungry, do not forget the snacks. And toilet paper for the girls. If you're taking a girlfriend hunting, most of the girls, they aren't going to just want to pop a squat outside, but they're going to have to. And if you don't have toilet paper, then they're really not going to want to do it. So don't forget the toilet paper.
Is there still a toilet paper shortage, or can you go like buy toilet paper now?
Oh, stock up on Charmin, I guess.
So I went to the grocery store a few weeks ago. I was so worried about turning down that aisle. Once I turned down, it was just fully stocked. The biggest sigh of relief.
Really? So we're all back to normal. Could you imagine being one of those people who like went and filled their garage?
Oh my god!
Imagine being that guy. Ty, don't answer that.
I was not that guy.
He was
I
like
was,
I was.
I was the guy that was trying to find toilet paper that was short.
One of like the react. I mean, did you go through that where you were like, oh, these people are being crazy, so I've got to react and go do the same thing?
No, I was like, these people are being crazy. And then I went to the store to grab some and there wasn't any there. I'm like, okay, maybe they weren't so crazy.
Yeah.
And getting on Amazon, everything sold out. I'm like, okay, so what do I do from here?
That was such a weird thing. Who would think you would live through something like that? It was
Toilet
interesting.
paper shortage.
Yeah, a toilet paper shortage. Like, still don't understand why that was a thing.
I don't know why. I just remember that I had to steal toilet paper from friends. So
Yeah, that's a good way to get your ass beat.
they didn't know. They had plenty of toilet paper. I just took one roll.
Well, there's your 2 minutes of content for the episode, Ty. You'll be
What
known
a
for your
time
toilet
to be
paper.
alive.
What was I going to say? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. But we were talking about kind of how you don't want to talk about the hunting and all that too much, like the past stuff.
I mean,
But-
yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I've told my story and like how I got to where I am, but just like going into the next steps and what I'm going to do and try and transitioning my brand. Like I think I said it in the beginning, I'm more than just hunting and fishing. Of course, I love it. Like that's what I'm so passionate about. But also having a business mindset. I've thought about getting into real estate and doing like land real estate, something there, and then also the political background. I'm big. I'm obviously a Trump supporter. So, and I'm not afraid to share it. Like there's a reason I believe in it and why I believe that way. And my, I guess, logic behind it is I want to educate people on it so they can form their own opinion. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to get you to think and have a reasoning for believing what you believe in. And I can agree to disagree with people, and that's completely fine. I just want people to know why they believe in something and what their reasoning is for it.
Well, isn't it interesting? Because a lot of we're in such a weird, controversial time. Might as well say what you think, but like the opposition, right?
Yeah.
It's like, isn't it so strange how they don't want to be presented with any data, right? It's just, let's just make all of our decisions based on emotion and a Twitter feed.
Exactly. And that's what, if I ever disagree with someone, I'm not going to say, well, you need to believe this. My next question will be like, well, why do you think that?
Right.
And whenever they can't give me like a valid reason, like, I don't know, I saw it on Facebook. That's why. Like, that's not going to change my mind. Like, I want a good reason. And if you give me a good reason, I'll be able to understand it. I might
Right.
not agree with it still, but I'll be like, okay, like, I respect that.
Right.
Like, I need a good reasoning for
So
it.
do you spend a lot of time trying to research politics so that you can actually have those conversations with people?
I do. I would say I haven't lately. I used to, like, probably within the past 6 months, since COVID, honestly, I've just been annoyed of it. Just,
Oh my God, because it's all
yeah, like
negative.
the whole, it's like, okay, now I really don't know what to believe. But prior to that, yeah, I would research a lot and read a lot about it, just purely just because I wanted to know.
Right. Okay, so did you go through like this weird period where you like got really deep into all the conspiracy stuff?
Oh gosh.
Like stay up at night?
My best friend Allison's over there listening, and she knows I am all about the conspiracies.
Okay, so like you were blowing up her phone with, did you see this? Get your tinfoil hat out, Allison.
Oh, well, no, not that. Ours, I don't know. We always watch like space movies or like 9/11. We've done a lot of research on that and like war stuff. And
Okay, this is the perfect platform because there's going to be so many people who agree with you just based on our demographic. What's your 9/11 thing?
See,
wanna know.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think there's a dark government for sure that made it happen, and it's absolutely terrible. Like, I hate that. Like, why? I don't know. I feel like we should have seen it coming. But also, I was 6 years old whenever it happened, so I don't really remember the actual current, like, I don't remember what I was doing. I know I was in first grade at that time, so I don't remember, like, the exact day, so I don't think I have, like, a valid view on that, just what I've seen and the information I've been given. It's a terrible thing, but I definitely think like we should have known something was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like everything that's going on right now.
Wait, what's your view? I want to hear
On
it.
9/11? Oh my God.
Like,
See,
obviously it happened, like COVID, like we know it's a thing, but I think the numbers are skewed on that for sure.
Oh, actually, that's science.
Oh
now.
yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
facts.
like,
Actually,
oh my God, he got ran over by a bus. COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. I had actually personally, I know like someone that was 103 that died, and their possible cause of death was COVID.
Like it actually got put as COVID.
Yeah, like possible COVID death, I think is what their birth certificate said. I'm like, they were 103 years old. Or old age got to them, you know?
Does
like,
that count as an underlying condition?
Yeah, like what? But okay, back to, I want to hear your 9/11.
My 9/11. Well, okay. So for like the longest time, I was very anti-conspiracy, right? Because I have a
Really?
sister who's just like so far like conspiracy that. What are you laughing? Okay, yeah. So I have a sister, and when we started this, we did just an episode to test with her. Mm-hmm. And we could never release it because it got so. She's actually like Facebook famous for her conspiracies. Every time she shares something, it's like 400 or 500
Really?
reposts, or it gets none because people are like, "What the?" Yeah. So we did that, and like as far as 9/11 goes, you know, everyone's like, "It's an inside job." I was like, I kind of think it was because how could they get through? I guess airport security was a little different. I was a little kid too.
Yeah, so airport security is the way it is because of 9/11.
Because yeah, so I mean, yeah, I just
It's so
don't
hard to know.
I
But
definitely think there is a dark government though, which I feel like that could go back to like some that I don't know the whole government.
there's
thing.
so many weird ones, right? Because
I want to talk about this, but also I could probably get killed after. But Hillary Clinton and that conspiracy within itself.
you got to think about the demographic of people you're talking to. Like,
Yeah,
there's probably
no, but-
3 Hillary Clinton supporters who support this show.
Okay, well they might know her, and she has people killed. Have you heard of the Clinton body count? Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself.
Who?
Wait, you really don't know?
just
Oh,
kidding.
I was like, wait, you really don't know about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the cameras turned off and he hung himself. That's what
I
happened.
want to know when Ghislaine Maxwell's going to kill herself.
I don't know, but did you watch the Epstein thing on Netflix? I have not watched it yet.
I've only watched like half of it, and honestly, it was a couple months ago or like whenever it first came out. So I actually saw it yesterday, but I was too tired to watch. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, I need to watch. I haven't yet because I just don't
It's
watch
so
TV much.
oh my gosh, the whole. So being in politics, I work with Turning Point USA, which have you ever heard of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they
so-
look for ambassadors all of the time.
Yeah.
They reach out to
Yeah,
tons of
so
people.
I work with them, and I've worked with them for the past 2 years. Great organization, love being a part of it. But I've met so many people there that work in such different aspects of the political world. Like, I'm a hunter. I'm one of, like, they've actually gotten a lot of hunters on board now.
Yeah.
But just reaching those different demographics. But I have some that are, like, very much so political activists, go on campuses and ask people questions. I have those ones. I have people that are involved with sex trafficking, and that is a rabbit hole within itself. I didn't
Well,
even
which
know
is-
that existed. And, like, I think it's so bad that there's not more of a light on it because of how awful it is in the United States. I didn't know it was that big of a problem, but it's one of the
Well,
biggest.
it's getting highlighted now, but it's just so funny how you're just not, it's not going mainstream like
Yeah.
COVID or BLM or
I
it's
actually-
insane.
I had a friend whose little sister, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I said names because they are like very big into it, but that's their story to tell. But
They can come on the show.
yeah, actually, that would be a good one. I will give you the contact later, and if they want to. But their sister got sex trafficked from home.
What?
She slept in her bed at home every single night and would get trafficked, and the family never knew.
How does that even
Yeah,
happen?
it's not like I thought that sex trafficking was like, oh, you just got abducted and like sent out, but no, people can get trafficked from home, and they were in the entertainment industry, and basically those predators that like reach out, they know how to get the like do this or I'm going to kill your family.
And
Basically,
so what was one of those things where she was hiding it?
I mean, yeah, she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, so because they would be, if you tell anyone, we're going to kill your family. So like
Isn't it freaky? Like
how
how
it's so sad.
I didn't even know that's how that worked.
I mean, that's one case.
Yeah.
There's obviously more scenarios out there, but yeah.
It's freaky because if you like go through history, I mean, this shit's been going on for thousands of years, and it's kind of like what rules and controls everything. You look at like the Harvey Weinstein thing, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein had this freaking sex island with an F.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that's a thing.
It's
really hard not to go down.
I haven't read it or looked into it, but have you seen any of the documents that came out? I guess they opened up his case or Ghislaine's case and all of the people that are on there.
Yeah, it's.
Have you? Like, I haven't read it.
I haven't read it, but I've heard other people talk about reading it. Because I'm not a big reader.
Yeah.
I should, so I could speak more intelligently and not sound like a freaking Neanderthal talking about this. Like, oh, people sex traffic, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
But I just don't know enough about it to get too in depth. But the fact that that's going on right now, while COVID's going on, while the protests are going on, the election's in November.
I was
that's
about
weird.
to say the election.
It's super weird.
Want to know something funny that I saw the other day about the whole COVID mass protest, the whole thing that's going on right now? It was on some news. It was like, no protests bigger than 100 people and no gatherings bigger than 12. No personal gatherings bigger than 12, but protests can have 100. I guess the COVID's not at protests.
Well, okay, so the whole U.S. saw a huge spike in COVID, right? Or so they say, based around right after all these mass protests.
Yeah.
And they won't blame it on that.
No, because they got it at the bars and restaurants, remember?
So they shut down, and the churches.
Yeah, churches, bars, and restaurants is where COVID's happening, but not the protests or riots or anything like that.
Which are still going on right now. Like, how much longer can this go on?
What about Portland?
That's some crazy.
One of my friends went to do news coverage in Portland this past week, and he goes, I never thought I would live in the U.S. and it be normal for people to go out in body armor every day. He was literally wearing a body armor vest.
Really?
To go out and just be a part of what was going on.
And it's all centered around the same leadership. Like, you would think common sense would dictate, all right, let's get this mayor and this governor out, because like the only reason these places are like that is because of that failed leadership. And nobody looks and backs into the numbers of how much funding actually goes into these communities, right? Like, what was in Chicago? Like, some $11 billion went to the schools in Chicago over the last 20 years, and they're just still preaching the same rhetoric.
Yeah. I mean, look at where all the failed government, like all of the failed cities going on right now. Look who's in office. Just like the mayors and governor, not the president. Like, look at who's running those towns and cities that are literally getting obliterated right now.
But why, like, I would love for somebody to be able to answer this question who actually knows. Like, why is this not just common sense? Like, why is it so easy that to just not look at them? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
I get it too. Like, I want to ask these questions to people and I want to know their why. That goes back to me saying, like, I want to understand why people truly believe in that. Like, they have an answer for it. They've elected these people in, or maybe they haven't. I don't know.
I do like Turning Point USA because you get people like Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, who actually have the data, who know how to construe messages on that subject.
I heard Charlie Kirk talk about gun control one time and my mind was blown. Like, I'm like huge into guns and stuff, but like just hearing the numbers and hearing like what he had to say about it was awesome.
Yeah, or even
I can't even like regurgitate what he said because he has way over my head.
No,
but
I can't either. I can banter with the best of them, but like spewing out facts and numbers,
exactly.
It's like,
yeah.
You know, it's like,
I'm like, maybe.
I love having this half conversation where we both sound really dumb talking about this important stuff. Guys, it's not audio only. The Gauge is on YouTube. Every single episode's on YouTube. We got 4K cameras, the best stuff. Check it out on YouTube if you want to see faces. Bright, smiling faces. We don't just use this lighting for nothing. We video it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Lots of people are watching the videos, but not a lot of people are subscribing. Please help me. Help us. Help the Gauge. Subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, so Epstein seemed like a nice guy, minus the sex trafficking, to be honest. I mean, you like when you see a guy. Well, he had some nice friends. Bill Clinton.
That's who Chase wants to be friends with, is Epstein, apparently.
Well, my name's Chance. It's Chase,
Chance,
baby.
Chase,
We're going to have to cut that. No, it's fine.
Let's restart on that one.
Oh, restart?
Yeah, just restarting this part.
No, it's totally fine. Actually, believe it or not, like Chase is a really common name. Chance is not a common name I've found. So people call me Chase all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they, with my other business, they do it all the time. Like on the phone, somebody calls, like, can I talk to Chase? It's like, no, it's not my name.
Now, from now on, I'm probably going to call you Chase just because that's like stuck in my head now.
No,
but
I'm going to call you Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Kendra is normally.
Is Kendra normal?
Kendra is what I get called a lot.
Well, Jones is a common last name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kendra Jones.
Kendra Jones.
Yeah. I'm going to put that in our intro.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm going to change our whole intro to be Chance Conrado. Or
What?
Chase Conrado. Whatever.
Chase.
Yeah.
Chase
This
Conrado.
is the gauge with Chase Conrado and Kennedy Jones. Kennedy's a nice name. But, okay, so we were...
Okay.
See, every time we kind of get pulled off into the weeds. That's how
Rabbit
this
hole.
show goes. But, like, so they want to mandate the mask, right? How do you see, like, because you're so interested in politics, and I am too, I just need to be smarter with them. I mean, what do you think happens in November? Like, let's say it could be bad either way, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'm nervous about it. Well, what about mail-in voting? That's another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, stupid. I think, I don't know. Honestly, I want to know how long the masks are going to have. I think it's going to be a common thing. Like people, even if it's not mandated, I think we're going to be seeing people wear masks for a long time after this.
I mean, they do in, like, China.
I'm not wearing one. But as soon as they say we don't have to, all mine are going in the trash.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. I mean, because they just suck. Like,
I think you get more germs in the masks than you do. I want to try and build my immune system. That's my outlook on it. If I get it, then I'm building my immune system.
well, it's like this disease that kills, like, fat and sick people, right?
Yeah,
It's like
it kills
purging the
like
population.
less than 1% of the people that get it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the difference between that and the flu? I feel like the flu kills more people than...
No, Ty. Stop.
Oh,
We're not getting into that. He has different views.
Well, I would like to hear him
Okay,
after
let's hear your views.
after this podcast. Or now, what
Go
do
ahead.
you think?
Let's hear your view, Ty.
I'm just going to say it's worse than the flu currently because there's no vaccine for it. There's no definite
But why would
thing
you
to go
want a
for.
vaccine? I feel like this vaccine. Well, this vaccine is getting conspirized too. Look at the people that are funding it.
There's over 150,000 Americans dead currently. That's what I got to point out at. And it's not, and you were saying something about the case numbers being risen could be risen over, I can't talk, sorry. But there's
That's why you
so
don't
many.
eat
You're getting
Whataburger.
flustered.
That's why you don't eat Whataburger before a podcast.
Yes, awesome. I'm tired.
Stay in digestion.
Okay, so
But
actually, I have a
it's-
question for both of y'all.
Go ahead.
Would you, if they came out with a vaccine right now, would you be first in line to get it?
Probably not, to be honest. I would like to go through a few more trials.
Do you get flu shots?
No, I've never had a flu shot.
never
Never
take
had
flu
the flu.
shots. If they come out with some vaccine for COVID, it's just like,
I don't think you can just come up with it overnight. I don't think that there's enough research on that to be able to have a valid vaccine. And the fact that they're wanting for people to get the vaccine right now, I think is dumb. And what about that doctor from the DFW area that has had proven facts on I forget what it's, the
hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, that
I said that right. What?
Yeah,
Replay that.
That's good. Because I don't know how to say it, but
I'll do an instant replay on that. But on that one, there's clear facts that it's a malaria drug. It's not meant for COVID. And there people that have high heart issues and heart risk, hydroxychloroquine does not work for them, and it can cause death. That's the reason with it. It's not meant for COVID. It's a malaria drug. That's why people are saying don't take hydroxychloroquine. Have your doctor.
not
but
it works.
she has this doctor that has, I don't know how many people she's.
This doctor was also that you're talking about. Also says that people get sick from demon semen.
What's demon semen?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think I'm gonna try that.
She is, but this doctor that you said has said a lot of crazy shit. That's the reason that people are really saying.
Did she really say that?
Yes, she did. I will pull this up and I will find this for you.
I think Alex Jones said the same thing.
Yeah, that's Alex Jones for you.
Okay, but also I'm gonna go back to what I said whenever you asked me about do I research into it and look a lot into it. I said I stopped whenever it came to COVID because I
Yeah.
think all of this stuff is just. I don't know what to believe, but I don't agree with the vaccine. I would not get it. I would not be first in line to get it. And I definitely think, I don't know how to word this. The people behind the vaccine, I don't think that they are just the great-hearted people.
I mean, no pharmaceutical company is.
I don't know. I don't know what I think about those big companies and putting my life. I'll say, I know God has a plan for me, and if he wants me to die of COVID-19, then I'm not going to stop it.
Okay.
There's that.
Kendall Jones, you should probably die from like a lion. Let's be real.
Hey.
They'll call it COVID.
Yeah, hey.
Or
if that's
on
God,
a rope swing, you almost died on a rope swing.
I did almost die on a rope swing. But if that's my plan to go and that's how God wants me to go, then literally a vaccine, hydrochloroquine, ain't nothing can stop it.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So all these deaths though, Ty, let's be real. Now we're really talking about COVID. I'm a dumbass. I shouldn't talk about it. But
it's all you.
What's that?
It's all you.
Yeah, but okay, so if it's been proven that the numbers have been skewed, right? They're pulling deaths from all kinds of different places.
So the
right?
thing is,
I have a question for you too.
Right.
Why do hospitals get more money for saying it's a COVID death?
I don't think there's any proven facts on that one.
It's
There
proven.
is. It is proven.
I
I know that for a
All right,
fact.
I'll fact check it.
Check it.
But
Snoops
what
it.
your question is,
Snopes it,
there's
whatever.
COVID, what the virus does is breaks down your immune system. No matter what's going to happen.
Like any other virus.
Yes. Like any other virus, it breaks down your immune system to the point where your lungs, especially your lungs, just become worthless. It breaks you down, and you might be able to get rid of the virus. But the problem is the virus has done so much damage to your body and to your lungs that it will allow bacteria to get you an infection, and it will cause other issues that can be a cause because of COVID's reaction to your body. That's why people are saying that's where there's COVID deaths, because there are deaths that are due to causes that COVID did to your body. That's why
just like the 104-year-old lady.
Yes, but that
That's
also,
why.
but
Wasn't 'cause
also,
she was
I can agree.
104.
I can agree with that. Where that probably may have been skewed, but there's still other people that are dying of heart attacks because COVID broke down their body so badly that their body was going to have a bad reaction no matter what after they had the virus.
I don't disagree with that. Like, I understand. Like, I think it's a real virus, and I think it does do not good things to your body, but I don't think it's as big of a problem as the mainstream media is making it out to be.
Well, even if it is, right?
That's my...
Even if it is, because I'm a small business owner who has been really, not this, but another one that has been absolutely crippled by COVID.
Yeah, it's destroyed the economy.
It's absolutely destroyed the economy, and it's put us, like when I say us, it's another business called Complete Trailers, in a position where we had to apply for all these government loans just like everybody else. And if we wouldn't have gotten them, we would be fucked.
Yeah.
And to actually go from what was a huge growth year to have your revenues cut by like 60, 70%, closed for 7 weeks, like I'm not going to recover. We're not going to recover financially from that for, it could be like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And that's way worse of an effect. And there's people who are affected way, way harder. I mean, what's the unemployment rate? I mean, it's going up it's going back down little by little, but those are long-term lasting effects that are a lot worse than if you're looking at statistics only.
I just can't believe we shut down the whole country over it.
Well, there's still places that are shut down.
Yeah.
There's restaurants that you would never expect to go out of business that are permanently gone, right? Like my gym, I went to a 24-hour fitness. It's gone. Like in Keller, Texas, it's gone.
That's
what?
Yeah, it's just crazy to me.
But anyway,
I don't know.
I don't either. That's a rabbit hole. It's interesting because it's funny because we were off air and we were kind of talking. Cause you like touched on the outreach thing with the kids and all that, but you actually have like a kind of like an ironclad plan on something you're going to do to really promote that it must have slipped your mind. You didn't tell me it was the coolest part.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if I should like go in with it like right before, because I haven't done it yet. I haven't set it up. But what I'm wanting to do is reach out to a lot of these influencers that are in different industries that like would the hunting guns like that not part of their platform or influence at all. So like maybe getting these fashion bloggers or mommy bloggers or foodie bloggers to come out and actually experience shooting guns, shooting clays, and have them firsthand do it so that they can get an opinion on it. And I'm not saying I'm going to try and bring them in and just get them to start hunting. I just want them to be able to experience it and have hands-on, in-person experience so they can form a valid opinion, and then maybe they can tell their story to other people and it reach out that way as well.
That makes sense. I mean, it would be really cool to get somebody who like was really against it to do it.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring in someone that's just going to like, I want the people to come in. I don't care if they're against it. I want them to have an open mind about it. As long as they have an open mind, they can come in hating guns, but if they're like, okay, I'm going to have an open mind going into this and just experience it, like I plan to still hate it afterwards, but I'll try it out and just see what all the hype's about. That's fine. I'm not trying to get you to love it and do it every day, you know?
Right. No, I mean, it's actually a really great idea. I don't know if anybody's ever done something like that.
I know one of our friends, I think, did something a little bit similar, but I didn't hear about it until James told me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be really cool. I look forward to seeing
and
that.
if I could do it more often to get awareness out there, I think that would be really sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be fun because when you do get to do it, next time you're on the show, we'll get to talk about what happened with the election.
Yeah,
we might be doing the podcast out of like a shitty Motel 6 that I'm living in because everything went
because
down.
of COVID.
Yeah, but we'll still do it. We'll find a way. We might
Perfect.
be recording it on Ty's window phone. What kind of phone is that, Ty?
It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 8.
Oh, see, I didn't know there was anything but iPhones. I just learned something.
So
Green bubbles.
So going back to that Dr. Stella.
Oh gosh.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, I said it.
No.
Stella and Manuel. So I wanted to let you know what some of the things that she said. So she alleged that alien DNA was being used in medical treatments.
That's been proven.
Chance. She said that scientists were cooking up a vaccine to prevent people from being religious. She claimed that blaming medical conditions on witches and demons, saying that witches and demons were having sex with people with them in their dreams, and that was causing medical issues. And then she said,
"What's your source behind this? CNN?"
This is BBC and a whole bunch of other sources. And then she also said that gay marriage.
She sounds like a fun time.
And then she said that gay marriage is resulting in adults marrying children. So, just gonna that. She said a lot of crazy shit in the past.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. But okay, taking her out of it, I know
that's just one person. Yeah,
I know another doctor that has had the same results from that cocktail of drugs that
really?
Because I have a group of all of these political influencers. I'm a friend.
James shaking his head back there.
I know, because we keep going down this rabbit hole of COVID and conspiracies and all that.
It's good though, because it's not like we're talking to people who don't feel the same way. Like, normally you don't want to just pander to your audience, but it's just kind of what happens with this type of show.
Yeah, and but yeah, so I've heard more than just that one doctor about the.
So I did that more so that you would have another source that you could use.
Yeah, I can go in and look at it, and I'll probably Google it after we get off this podcast just to read more about it.
I like the old opinion where she was a good doctor. I like that. I'm going back to that. I don't care what you say. I don't even know who she is.
I don't know. She got her doctorate in Nigeria, and then I think she got her license in Houston for the United States. From what I was reading.
She's getting a lot of shine on this show. Let's change the subject. Well, okay, so you're going to do all these great things. We're going to talk again, but I know you have other things to get to. So I'm really glad you came on the show. What's your social media so that people can check you out?
On Instagram and Twitter, it's _Kendall Jones _ That's KENDALL. Because everyone
_Kennedy _Jones.
Okay, no. Kendall Jones _ and then just Kendall Jones on Facebook.
I'm going to have to write that down. She messed up my name, so it's going to be hard to get over that.
Okay, Chase.
Oh,
Settle
there
down.
it is again. All right. Well, I'm really glad you came on. I'm actually really excited to listen to this, But at like, what was that? Like at the hour mark where we started talking about conspiracies.
I don't know.
We're gonna
But
jump right to
also,
that.
if people do want to learn more about me, they can go on my YouTube channel. I just launched a documentary this past year about kind of where I am, how I grew up, and just what I've been through, just to kind of get the word out there. So, and I'm
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
to start posting more on YouTube. So
It's a good idea. It's a good
follow me
platform.
there.
They'll probably block everything you put up. But we'll try.
for sure. Demonetize 100%.
Yeah. It's actually not that hard to get monetized, we're finding out.
Oh, really?
It's probably really hard to keep it, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This has been The Gauge, hosted by me, Chance Conrado, produced and edited by our guy, Ty Yeager. Shout out to the executive producers, Dustin Pointer and Cody Denton. Marketing and content by Cassie Emerson. Our theme song is by Shay Ashshire and the Night Howlers. Make sure to rate and review this podcast, as well as follow The Gauge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to The Gauge wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys next time.